Frenchie, or as I like to call him, the walking scar. His past is saturated with violence, addiction, and a constant state of survival. He grew up in a very abusive, chaotic environment, and that chaos has become his natural state of being. Now, his obsession with chemical escapes, drugs, stimulants, anything to numb the edges, this is not recreational. This is his coping mechanism. He's essentially self-medicating against PTSD, guilt, and these intrusive memories. Frenchie doesn't just use substances. He leans on them like a crutch to survive the weight that's in his own head. Now, he is a walking paradox because if you notice, Frenchie is one of the most compassionate members of the boys, and that's not hard to be. But his empathy borders on compulsion. Let's remember when he first sees Kimiko, this feral, weaponized child soldier, he instantly identifies with her brokenness. This isn't altruism, it's projection. Helping her is a way of him healing his own inner child, his own fractured psyche. He can't stop trying to fix others because deep down, he knows he can't fix himself. So he's drawn to broken people because he sees himself in them. Now, he is a mix of violence and love, all intertangled together. His genius with weapons and explosive is another double-edged trait. He's very creative and resourceful, but he tends to funnel this creativity towards destruction. Although we see him in his cooking ventures as well, where he's very gentle. But this paradox reflects an inner split. A man capable of intense tenderness who still carries an instinct for massive carnage. Love and violence are intertwined in his psyche. Both are ways of asserting control over the world that otherwise overwhelms him. Now, if you look at his own relationships, he has a complicated relationship with authority. On one hand, he craves structure, someone to give him a role, like Butcher. But on the other hand, he constantly resists being used or dehumanized because it echoes his past trauma. He's been there before, literally, with a collar around his neck. His obedience to Butcher is not loyalty. It's kind of a strange dependence. He needs someone to anchor him, even if that anchor is toxic in the case of Butcher. So it's no accident that he often clashes with Butcher's brutality while still staying in the orbit around her. So he's accepting it, but rebelling against it. And that's a core of who he is. At the very center of him, this is an addict versus his caretaker identity. The killer versus this lover. The chaotic child versus this responsible adult. And this inner fragmentation is what makes him magnetic. He's not just comic relief with a fixed accent. He's a tragic figure trying desperately to stitch together a sense of worth. His love for Kimiko isn't just romantic, and at times I wonder if it's even romantic at all. But without her, he risks drowning in his own self-destruction. His ability to pull her up allows him to uplift himself, and she has that same need to fix someone as well. So he represents the idea that trauma breeds both destruction and, in his case, extreme empathy. He is proof that people who are deeply broken can still be deeply loving. But also that love alone doesn't heal that fracture that is breaking them apart. It gives you a reason to stand by him when he's going through all this, is that you know there's a redeeming, loving person inside all that. So again, Frenchie's one of the more complex characters in this series, and if you really look down at him, he's a conflict of really loving nature and this abstract brutality that he has himself surrounded with. But this is a product of what he's been through over his life. So a character I'm really fond of. He adds a lot of layer to the boys himself and what he brings. So we'll see what this new season brings for him and what his mental state will be.